My name's Kate Courage and I'm one of a team of academic support librarians. We're the teaching and learning team of the library, so we work with academic staff and with students to support teaching and learning, specifically thinking about information skills, research skills, anything related to that. So I spend a lot of my time working with undergraduates, supporting their research at different levels really. So that starts off when they first come in as first years, really understanding the difference between the type of research they might have done at school or at sixth form, where they're going onto Google, they're doing a quick search for information, they're putting that in, often it's not checked and questioned, and kind of explaining the difference between that and academic university level research, of thinking about library, kind of bibliographic research, to use a horrible term, about the way in which you go about finding scholarly information and using that in your own research and writing. So for first years, that is often just understanding the difference between what you can find freely, publicly available, and what you might want to go into more specialist resources to find, and like types of information, what is a scholarly monograph, what does a journal article do, what's the difference between the two of them, what's the difference between those and things that aren't at all peer reviewed and just publicly available on the web. And then that goes right through kind of honours level, where they're doing longer extended projects that need a lot more independent research, through to dissertations, and I spend a lot of time working with dissertation students and devising kind of programmes of support so that they can really develop into confident researchers looking ahead possibly to postgraduate research. The approach that I use is different for every module and every subject area and every academic that I work with, because what I try to do, and it comes partly out of a project that the library used to run called Student as Researcher, which now we don't run with that name in the same way, but we use lots of principles for it kind of in our own teaching, is that we devise our teaching as closely as possible with the academic who runs the module. I'll go into a module, say, and deliver a small part of it that will help students with the research required for a particular assignment. That's typically how it works. So that runs in lots of different ways. So sometimes, what I've done with quite a few honours level modules in the French department or French studies section of the Modern Languages School, to really kind of bring up students' research skills for the kind of extended essays and work that they're doing at that level. And those have involved giving them an online tutorial to work through first, and that just kind of brings them all up to date with the kind of the basics of how you go about constructing a literature search on a database. Just make sure they understand the principles of putting together a research strategy. And then we would set them a task to do before a seminar involving some research. So it might be going away and creating a short annotated bibliography of sources that they had found through a particular method. So we get them to come back having done their piece of research, sometimes in groups, which is quite nice as well, where they get to work together and discuss it. And then in the class they present what they found, how they found it, and that's quite important that we see what their methods are, how they're going about finding these things. And then I and the module tutor will comment on what they found. So the module tutor can comment far more authoritatively than I can on what they found and how useful that is for the module, and I can comment on where their methods, their approaches, and if there seem to be gaps in where they're not looking and approaches they haven't tried. Particularly in the English department, we devised a programme, we is me and Rochelle Sibley from the Writing Centre, devised a programme that supports them from their proposal writing, to get accepted to do a dissertation, right through to submission. The bits that I lead on, rather than kind of supporting Rochelle with, are around that kind of the research process. So thinking about, what's the difference between the type of research required for an essay. It's like the kind of transition thing again from sort of school to university, the transition from doing an essay to doing a dissertation. So that goes then right through things like critical engagement with that literature and with those sources. And then we move into things like the kind of structuring and the writing up. And we encourage students to peer review each other's research and give each other really good feedback, really constructive feedback on what's working.